What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Legends I Want to See in the Show 21. If you are excited for another video of this series, hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new. We're getting into the AL Central today, and let's just not have a long intro. Let's just get right into it. First, we're going to go to the Kansas City Royals, and we're going to talk about Royals Hall of Famer Kevin Appier. Now, I won't lie, I don't know a ton about Kevin Appier nor the other options I was going to choose for the Royals, and I'm sure Royals fans could let me know and represent themselves better than I could down below in the comment section below, and let me know other guys that you could see in the Show 21 as well. But I had a hard time picking this out, but Kevin Appier is a good one to go for sure. He had a 13-year career with the Kansas City Royals, a 3.49 ERA in 1,800 innings, with a 130 ERA plus. I think if I had to choose a year, I would either choose 1992 or 1993. 1993, he led the American League in ERA, but he had a low K per 9 that season. He had a higher K per 9 in 1996, but a lower, a higher whip. He gave him one more hits. It was kind of tough to choose an exact year. You could do a SIG series if you wanted to choose Kevin Appier, but I'm going to choose his 93 season. He led the MLB in ERA plus as well, and in the AL and FIP, and he led the entire MLB in home runs per 9 and 0.3 as well. So that season, he had an 18-8 record, a 2.56 ERA. He had 186 strikeouts in 238 innings, totally 7 K per 9. He came in third in Cy Young. Like I already said, he had a MLB leading 179 ERA plus, the AL leading 2.9 FIP, and he had a 1.1 whip, and he led the MLB in home runs per 9 with a 0.3. So I'm sorry I can't dive deeper into the discussion about Kevin Appier like I would want. I'm just not super familiar with the player, and I just don't know. I had a hard time picking the year to use, or just a single season to highlight. That would be a pretty good card. Next, we're gonna have Minnesota Twins legend. He went to the Mets at the end of his career. We're talking about Johan Santana, two-time Cy Young Award winner, 4-time All-Star, Triple Crown award as well, and a Gold Glove winner as well. He won the Triple Crown in 2006, but 2004 he had a better statistical per 9 numbers that I think would better him a card in the game. You could also go a prime or a 6 series Johan Santana. I mean, either or would be honestly pretty good. But if we're gonna go to a single year card, which you can see a lot of in the show, I think the best one would be his 2004 season. He wasn't an all-star in 2004. He had a 2.61 ERA. He went 20-6. He had 265 strikeouts, which led the MLB. He led the led the AL. He led the entire MLB in ERA plus with 182. He led the AL in FIP with a 2.92. He led the AL in WHIP with a 0.921, which is very good. He led the MLB in hits per 9 with 6.2, very low. He led the AL as well in K per 9 with a 10.5, which is a whole 1.1 higher than his 2006 season, which is the only reason I chose to highlight this one over his 2006 season. But honestly, if we're gonna sit here and go deeper to his stats, he had a 6-year stretch where he had only an ERA barely over 3 twice. I mean, he had, if we're gonna go down in order from 2004 to 2010, a 2.61, a 2.87, a 2.77, a 3.33, 2.53, 3.13, and then a 2.98. That is elite. Very good. Johan Santana was a stud to watch when I could, when I was younger. Obviously don't remember a ton of things about watching baseball when I was super young, but he'd be very fun to use. He had disgusting changeup, just overall very good repertoire, and he's someone I want to see the game. I could have mentioned Joe Mauer here, but I wanted to get Johan Santana some love, which I'm sure he didn't need it. But Mauer is a guy I definitely want to see if we're talking about Twins as well. Back into the game, his MVP season would be fun. He just retired a couple years ago, 2018. Yeah, after the end of the 2018 season. So we could maybe see him here very, very soon back into the game, which I would love. Another good catcher, but Johan Santana is the Twins guy I got. Now we have a guy who honestly might be a surprise to a decent amount of people, you know, as a guy I would mention to have into the game as a Cleveland Indian. But we're going to be talking about Al Rosen. He had a monster 1953 MVP season back for the Cleveland Indians. We also have a card made up for him on this was going to be on screen for a second. But if we're going to go into his statistical numbers that season, he played 154 games. He had 201 hits, 43 homers, 27 doubles, 5 triples. He also had 8 stolen bases as well. He had an 85 walk to 48 strikeouts, 336 average, 422 on base percentage, 613 slugging, and a 1034 OPS, giving him a 180 OPS plus. Just a very, very good year, and he demolished both sides. If you're going to go to his splits, against righties, he hit 336, 419 on base percentage, 637 slugging, and a 1057 OPS. Against lefties, it is 335 average, 424 OBP, a 580 slugging, and a 1004 OPS as well. Just a monster hitting season for Al Rosen. And we're going to take a look at his hypothetical card on the screen right now. He's got 122 contact versus righties, 124 versus lefties, 92 power with 81 power versus lefties. Could actually honestly be a little higher. Might be a little low. He had 16 homers against lefties and it could be right. 125 vision. He's super slow, which is, you know, the downside for sure. And his fielding isn't really the greatest, so he can only play third base. I don't believe he played anywhere else that season, but I mean, he's got a monster bat. He's definitely a guy you could use off the bench, and you know, depending on how good fielding is this season, he could be fine at third. I mean, hell, people have ran Frank Thomas out of position at third base before, even this year, and it's worked fine. So Al Rosen, not a notable name. Well, I mean, he's a notable name, not to say that. That's not what I mean. Probably not a name I think a lot of people would bring up if you're like Cleveland Indian legends we need in the game. But let's have him in the game. Why not? Next, we have playoff hero for the Detroit Tigers back in 2006. I am talking about Magglio Ordonez in his monster 2007 season. I know a couple people who have advocated for this card to be in the game, and I am on that train full send. Just a monster season for him. He came in second in MVP. He was an all-star and a silver slugger. He played 156 games. He had 216 hits, 54 doubles, 28 homers, 139 RBIs, a 76 to 79 walks to strikeouts, 363 batting average with a 434 on base percentage, a 595 slugging, and a 1029 OPS. Just ridiculous numbers. And we're going to go into his platoon splits. Against righties, he hit 351 with a 415 on base percentage and a 564 slugging and a 980 OPS. But against lefties, he was a monster. He had 122 at-bats against lefties. He had 410 with a 500 on base percentage, a 713 slugging, and a 1213 OPS against lefties. An insane number. On screen right now, you're going to see his hypothetical card on screen. 125 contact on both sides, 86 power versus righty, which is definitely usable. 112 versus lefties. Honestly, could be even higher. It really could be higher. He's got 86 defense. I'm not totally sure about his defensive statistics that season, but he's got serviceable fielding statistics. His arm is a little weak. He can only play right field. He's a little slow, but he's a monster bat. And I'm sure he'd be fun to use. And I know I see a little error. I just realized I didn't see this before, but I didn't make this. But he does not bat left-handed. He's a right-handed hitter. So he's a monster right-handed bat that I would love to use in the game this year. And finally, we have our White Sox player, and we're going to be talking about the late Dick Allen. Should be a Hall of Famer by many people's opinions and eyes, and I agree. We're going to be talking about his 1972 MVP season for the Sox, and he was a stud that season. I mean, you're gonna see his card here in a second to show you the proof. But 1972, he played 141 games. He had 156 hits, 28 doubles, 5 triples, 37 homers, 19 stolen bases, 99 walks, 126 strikeouts. Pretty close to the strike to walk ratio. 308 average, 420 on base percentage, 603 slugging, and a 1023 OPS. And now, if we want to get into his platoon splits, he's got 22 homers, 22 homers against righties, 15 against lefties. Against righties, he had a 317 average, a 423 on base percentage, a 579 slugging, and a 1003 OPS. Against lefties, he had a 286 average with a 413 on base percentage, a 664 slugging, and a 1077 OPS. Just really, really good numbers against both sides. And on screen right now, he was a first baseman. And he had another thing for this card, has the bat's left thing, but he was a right-handed hitter, as you can see even in the card art. But 117 contact versus righties, 105 versus lefties, 116 power versus righties, 125 against lefties. Fine vision again, unless you use the outer PCI, isn't too much of a big deal, because contact is the inner PCI. Serviceable fielding for sure at first base, definitely above average at first base. Because you don't need insane fielding. You can notice the difference between I guess, guys like Evan White and, Cody Bellinger at first base, or Matt Olson. But, that's not bad defense at all. And he's actually got 82 speed, which is pretty fast for a first baseman. Definitely would be probably top 5 in the game. At least we're talking about primary first baseman at first, I would believe. Even this year, if we're talking about just this year. Again, monster card. It'd be cool to see him in the game for many reasons. So with Dick Allen that we just went over, that's going to do it. Those are the 5 AL Central legends I want to see in the show 21. If you want a legend in the game that I didn't mention from one of these 5 teams, let me know down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.